Hello and welcome to my home. Today is a garden update and tour of my vegetable container garden. And I'm going to show you some things that I've done. For example, I think the bunny rabbit has vacated the area. So I've taken that protective screen from around my strawberry plants and I've moved my strawberry plants, and you'll see that. And I've done some other things in the container garden as well. But before we go there, I want to let you know I have other types of videos on my channel. I have easy to prepare recipes, product reviews, meditation videos, and a variety of videos on how to grow vegetables in containers. So let's go on that tour. So this is a view from the side looking at my containers. This is my main area of containers. Another area that's off to the side. Let me see if I can get it more in focus. Right there. And I'm going to show you another section, and I'm going to take you in closer to everything. So right here, I'm going to be putting my watermelon patch, and I'm going to have them in containers. Two are going to be trained up on trellises, and I'm going to have the other two coming out the containers, and I'm thinking that they're going to go across and sprawl on the ground. So this area I have to clean it out. I'm going to put down, I think, some of that black weed mulch, or what do you call that, black mat, weed blocker, what it's called. So these are my watermelons. They're sugar babies. I have 4 bigger plants and 1 little plant. So I need to break those out. I'm going to put 2 of those in this pot. And I think this is the pot where I'm going to let them run outside the pot onto the ground. So that should be interesting. I've never done that before. And here's the sugar babies. I'm going to leave 2 of these in the pot and trellis them up. And I'll keep you posted on that. That 5th one is kind of small. I'm thinking I'm going to have to discard that one. Now here are my fruit bushes and trees. This one right here is my blueberry bush. I won't be getting any blueberries this year. I planted this one from bare root. And here's my raspberry tree. I will not be getting any raspberries from this year either. And it's growing. That was planted bare root as well. Now here are my Brandywine tomatoes. They're kind of small because I just started them as a last minute thing. I decided I wanted to add Brandywine to the rest of my tomatoes that I'll show you later. Here is one of my Black Beauty eggplants. It's a bigger one. I planted some smaller ones in there just in case the bigger ones didn't make it, but the bigger ones are doing fine. And I'll show you my other Black Beauty. This Black Beauty eggplant has gotten really big. It's really loving life, as they say. Now throughout, I have different flowers that I planted from seeds. These are called bachelor's button, and they're like little small bluish purple type flowers. They're very cute. I have a tomato plant tucked in there. I like to do that just in case the tomatoes that I had as a backup plan, in case those don't make it, but my tomato plants did fine. Some more bachelor's buttons. Now I got a bucket here. I think I'm going to transplant some peppers in here. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to put in this pot. Plant right here is called the white Comet. So it's going to be white in nature, and I've never grown the white Comet, so I'm looking forward to that. Every so often I like to plant something different just to see how it does. I also have some marigolds that are starting to bloom. I have those planted throughout. Now here's my cantaloupe. Now I need to start tying these up because they're starting to grow out of the container and onto the ground, but I really want these to be up on this pole, so I have some work to do there. And another cantaloupe that I need to do some work in the same thing. Now I got 2 cantaloupes per each of these 2 pots. I don't normally do that, but I'm running short on pots this year, I had to make an executive decision whether I was going to buy more pots or discard the cantaloupe plants. I think I can keep 2 growing in each of these 2 pots. It's probably going to require more fertilizing, and I'm going to have to pay attention to what they're doing. Another big container, and this one I sowed bachelor button seeds and marigold seeds. Now this is my zucchini, and it's coming along really well. Now this is a pink flower, and here's another type of flower and another type of flower, and this is one of those mixed seed packages, so I really don't know the names of these. I would have to go back and look at that seed packet, but I have no idea, but I'm loving this pink color. Now here are my bell peppers, and this is what I really want to transplant to that empty bucket, and they're getting really big, so I really need to get a move on transplanting those. Here's my squash plant. It's gotten really big. Yep, looking nice and healthy. Marigolds, and if you wonder what that green little contraption is, that's to scare off the squirrels, and I did a video on that earlier. I'll put a link to that too at the end of this video, and in the bottom in the description section too. And here's my other squash plant. It's not as big as the other one because I planted this one a little later. Now these I planted outside after it warmed up. And then they're not transplants where I started indoors. I did start some indoors, but because I waited so long to transplant them because the weather got cool all of a sudden, the vines just didn't last that long. Vines don't really like staying indoors. I wouldn't say past, 5-6 weeks, and I had kept those indoors for a good 2 months, so they didn't make it, but hey, it was early enough to restart them, and I have my squash. Now over on this side, I have my strawberry plants. I have another strawberry plant around in another section. I'll show you that too. Here's one of my zucchini plants. Over here are 2 zucchini plants and 4 zucchini plants. They're looking pretty perky. I transplanted those the other day. I grew those from seeds again outside because, it doesn't take long for cucumbers to produce. I have my Asiatic lily. I planted from a bulb. Again, this is another one of those plants, flower plants that I got out of that seed packet. I really don't know what it is going to be until it blooms, and I'm going to try to look it up. Now I bought these from the nursery, so I did not plant these from seeds. Here are my chives. That's basil I planted from seed outside. Some bachelor's button, and that's a lily, a lilac plant back there. It's new, it's not going to bloom this year. Now here are my carrots. This is one of them. They look like they might be getting ready. See something looking kind of orange. So I should be harvesting those soon. I got some more carrots over here, and I'll do a separate video when I harvest my carrots. But here's my other carrots. There are my beets. My beets are starting to show up on the top of the ground too. Let's see if I can get in. This is the last of my kale. I'm going to have to harvest that soon, and that'll free up this container. And I have an idea what I'm going to put in that container. So stay tuned. And I'm also growing some Chinese eggplant. And these are going to have to be, I want to probably take the two biggest ones of these and put it in a container. One will stay in this container, one to another container, and the others, I'm just going to thin those out. Now I do have some tomato plants over here, but because I have the same type in the other area, I'm going to go over the types when I get back to the other section. But I think that's it for over here. So the bulk of my tomato plants are in this section. So let's talk about the varieties. This one right here is a Cherokee purple, and I have several Cherokee purples. It's starting to bloom, and I think I got a tomato that's going to be growing right there. Can't wait. Now this one is my Beefmaster, looking pretty good. It's just starting to flower. And this one is a Better Boy tomato plant. This is what my mother used to plant. Unfortunately, I don't know what my grandma and granddad grew on their farm, but this is what I grew up eating as a child. This is a pineapple tomato, so it's supposed to be, yellow in color. I've never grown a tomato that wasn't red, so this will be very interesting to me to see how that's going to turn out. Now this is called a red robin tomato. I have two of those in here, and I need to separate those out as well. I planted those from seeds, and they look very healthy. They're just on a small side. I kind of started these after my other tomato plants. Here's my other strawberry. Here's some tarragon growing. And lastly, I did an experiment with some peas where I was trying to see if you really need an inoculant, which is a nitrogen fixing type bacteria. And it looks like to me there's no advantage. They both have flowers coming on them. Now this is the one that had no inoculant, and ironically, I'm going to step back a little bit. That one's a little bit taller than the one over here that had the inoculant. Now these got some peas that are maturing on there. This one that had no inoculant has plenty of flowers, but nothing is maturing yet into the actual peas, so maybe that's where the difference is. These seem to be maturing faster. At least it looks like that on first impression. So lastly, I've been working on trying to make it look a little prettier. So I've added a little white rock. I also added some edging. Now this is plastic edging, and it has spikes underneath it, and you just push it into the ground. And I kind of made a little curvy pattern just to give it some interest. And I think I'm going to end up putting some mulch around the pots and some mulch inside the pots to help with the moisture. But those are things I still have to do. It's still a work in progress. Got some cleanup to do around here. A lot of cleanup. And get things situated. And here's a view from the other angle of the yard. Yeah, the grass needs to be cut. Got some weeding I need to do. I don't know. I think in this flower bed, which I gave it away, I want to put flowers, I think, over here. I really love shade flowers, and this is a shady spot. So I need to see what I'm going to do over there. That might be a project for later. So, as I was saying, I still have quite a few things to do, some more things to transplant. I think I need to get some more potting mix and those types of things, and I definitely need to tidy up. all the stuff that I have in the yard to make it look kind of, a little nicer, neater, and more inviting for everyone to sit out and enjoy. If you like that video, hit the thumbs up like button and consider subscribing to my channel and hit the notification bell so you know when I've uploaded a new